Hello, ZPA community. I love the Monday Mania Festival because we just rocked the 9 p.m. and now we're hitting our everyone sharing and building ZPA, our weekly webcast at 10 p.m. Eastern time. And then I have my dear friend, the health guru herself, best-selling author, Renita Rowe Brannon. Renita, hello.
Hi, how are y'all doing tonight? Fired up.
So you excited for tonight, Renita?
I'm always fired up for Monday nights, Mark. Like I am, because it's like a jam-packed night of nutrition and education and inspiration, motivation, business building. I mean, you got it all. I love it.
So Renita, before we dive in, you told me something about your customers and distributors. Tell me the numbers you hit just with the powerful enrollments you had personally this month.
Yeah, it was a big month. I think I'm at 31, maybe 32 customers and 10 new distributors for the month. So it's a huge month. Pretty much like when I saw that I was over 40 for the month, I was like, wow. But that all is thanks to you. You really sparked it when you came out here to ND. Blizzard, 45 below, Mark fired things up out here. So I think it really planted the seed and gave people the vision of what is possible with their health. And that's just undeniable. Mark, there's something about it. When you get in the room, the belief goes through the roof. And so I'm so thankful for you coming out here, because I really feel like that did spark the entire month of January. But remember, the best is yet to come. Yeah. I just think January is huge, but February is probably going to be bigger, because a lot of people that started those New Year's resolutions have probably fallen off the wagon already, and we're going to help those people out in February. So I'm fired up. And it's American Heart Month in February.
Let's also remember, it's not me, it's you. And that's everyone watching. This is the key. This is what Renita and I were talking about, because she talked about me coming for a little spark. So I can bring some energy, but come on, Renita, we know that it's you. But this is why we're doing videos and webcasts. And this is why I want to share with everyone the blog right here that we posted on Friday and I shared in the group. If you look at this blog, it's a powerful blog because it really talks about, supplements, your body's nutritional gap fillers. And it just supports what Renita said. It's like me. Like, I can say stuff all the time to certain people, and when they hear from someone else, it just makes sense. So this is kind of like this blog, just like the Zen Fuse, our weekly blogs here. I want you to think about how we're writing them, how they're coming out, because it's not push, push, push. And it kind of goes perfect to the theme tonight on how to ask the right questions. This leads people to the solution of why they actually need supplementation, then educates them on the two types of supplementations, and then why we made Zen. So it's not, here's a shake you need. There's a reason behind it. Here are products that support to fill your nutritional gaps and why you need them. And as we're building this blog series, we have new videos coming out as well. So as you're leading your community, as you're asking the right questions, which you're going to be learning tonight from me, Renita, you then have blogs, videos, business webcasts, Facebook Lives to share. So it supports the message. So it's not just you delivering it, it's everyone. It's all of these different touch points you have. How do you use this stuff, Renita, all these different touch points?
Well, I love it, because if you guys feel like you're not the expert yet, even though you've got a tremendous story and an awesome, maybe, you've lived the Zen Project 8 plan and you've had phenomenal results, but yet you feel like you're just not the expert. You feel like you can't. Just like you saying, Mark, even though I'm great at sharing the message here in North Dakota, just having somebody different, having an expert like yourself, just maybe verbalizing it a little differently, just the way that you present it, it makes all the difference in the world. So I think when I can share a link from you that you've written about supplements or protein shakes or whatever it is that you're writing about, I think it adds validity to what we're doing. Plus, for people that maybe don't have the confidence, it's really the shot in the arm that you guys need to say, hey, this is what I'm part of. This is what I'm an ambassador of, right? This is what I do. And this is why I'm so strongly promoting the Zen Project 8 and PFC Every 3 and all we have going on, because look, this is my friend Mark McDonald. Listen to him. Listen to him for today, right?
That's how we all support each other. And this is why we're doing these weekly. And everyone watching, we're working. Renita and I talked before, and then our amazing guru who manages the whole thing, Bonnie Schrader right there, who manages the group, who manages the webcast. Our goal is to be done by about 10:20 Eastern time. So we're looking at 20 minutes of content, 5 minutes to open up with new stuff that happened, which we just did right there. And then actually about 10, 15 minutes on the topic. So this becomes something that you can work on the entire week, knowing how to ask the right questions. And just so you know, this movement, as I shared in the group, We launch in Sydney, Australia and New Zealand, March 25th, 26th. Right after Lead, we then go to Amsterdam, 28 to the 30th, we launch in Europe. So I just want everyone to know we are just getting started. Our movement with ZP8 is blowing up, and it all started right here in North America and the US. And Canada, all the Canadians out there, we love the Canadians. And I know that you're part of North America, but ZenFuse and Prime aren't there yet. They're almost approved by Health Canada, so they're coming very soon. So it's coming. I just want you to know that. Okay, so Renita, we talked about the asking the right questions. And this is what I get emails all the time, because what we want to do is get feedback from the audience, from everyone living ZP8, sharing ZP8 and building ZP8. And people say, well, Mark, I struggle with how to talk to people. And that's why we did communication last week. But a lot of times you got to remember one of the points I shared last week is that whoever is the greatest flexibility in the conversation ends up leading that person they're talking to. And that's what we talk about here, your flexibility, how you can actually ask the right questions. And when I say right, I really mean speaking to the person, listening to them. And there's 3 parts: before the conversation, during the conversation, and after the conversation. So Renita, I'm going to share my 3 bullet points for before the conversation, and I'm going to ask you to share your spin on it. Sound good?
Okay. Sounds great.
So for me, the 3 that I always tell people is this. Number 1, and everyone write this down. Remember, it's not about you. That's it. It's not about you. We live in such a state with Instagram and Snap. I mean, I don't even know everything. Snapchat, it's all, and so much of it becomes about us. It's not about you. None of this is about you. Second point, it's all about the person you're talking to.
That's right.
That's the key. Not about you, all about the person you're talking to. This is before you ever have a conversation. This is a mindset that I'm going to ask everyone to shift into tonight. And the last thing is this: you must stay unattached to the outcome. If you go into a conversation, number 1, thinking it's about you, not honoring the other person, and attached to what you want the outcome to be, that's a big, big problem. And this is stuff so before we even talk about how to ask the right questions, those are my 3. So let me recap, and then it's Renita. Renita's up there. It's not about you. It's all about the person you're talking to, and you need to be unattached to the outcome. Okay, Renita, you're up.
Well, definitely. It's funny because today in the shower, I was thinking, I love to serve. I'm a server. I just feel like I love to serve others. So, I mean, we really, in this industry with Zen Project 8 and PFC and what we have going on, we are serving others. We're serving their needs. We're listening to them. The second thing is I'm an encourager. Sometimes I borderline pusher, but I'd rather be considered an encourager, not a pusher, because I think everybody needs encouragement. I think especially people that have failed repeatedly with diets and their self-esteem is low and they're ashamed and it's hard for them to be vulnerable with you. So ask yourself, are you a servant? Are you an encourager? And then I think the third thing is Mark, I'm much like you. I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm just the messenger. Yeah. I realize that God has just called me to be a messenger, to set captives free with their health. And he's given us this great opportunity of the Zen Project 8 and the PFC Every 3 lifestyle. And so I'm not attached to the outcome. Am I happy when people join because I feel like it's really launching their new life? Absolutely. But I am not attached in the sense that, because timing is everything for them. And sometimes you can do the best job encouraging and serving and showing them the resources and leading them, but the timing might just not be right. But I always say, leave every relationship great. Never burn a bridge. You never know when you're going to have to walk across it. You never know when they're going to come back 2 months later and say, I'm ready now. Right. And so I say, be a servant, be an encourager. And I definitely agree. Don't be emotionally attached to the outcome. You're just the messenger.
Love that. So many times before a conversation, people they don't have that mindset. So everyone, this is your first action item for this week, is to list out the 3 things that you need to work on before the conversation. Something that, in your own words, please do this, that you feel like, okay, it's not about me, it is about them. And I love what you said, emotionally attached to the outcome. Now, we talked about last week, you need to know what you want the end in a conversation. You want to know what the outcome is. You want to know where you want to lead people. You just can't be attached to their desire. You can't be so emotionally spent that you're willing to sacrifice stuff for that. So you have to just deliver that message. So go into that mindset. Then, now during the conversation, I'm going to use an analogy this weekend. So many people say to me, well, Mark, they come up to you because you're a health expert. So I play competitive soccer. I'm in a semi-pro futsal league. I'm the old guy there, okay? This is an open league. So these are all, 3 of the guys on my team are Brazilian. They played pro futsal in Brazil. So like I'm the American goalkeeper. But I've been rocking it the past 4 weeks. Like I'm playing seriously, and I'm not tooting my own home, but I'm playing better than I think I've ever played. I'm in the zone right now.
You're
yes,
fast.
I am like, my reflexes are strong. So like people are talking on the sideline, they're saying this. So these kids know nothing about me. I just want to know, these are 20-year-old kids. So after the game, because we're in first place and I had a really good game, and I go out there and I start making my Zenfuse shake, and I have my nuts and some fruit. And 3 guys come up to me and their girlfriends, and they said, man, you played amazing. How old are you? And I said, I'm 44. They said, really? And you're playing that good? Like I'm this old guy. And I said, yeah. They're all, well, what are you doing? What's going on? And I said, well, I eat something. I eat balanced protein, fat, carbohydrates called PFC every 3. And then I drink this shake. I love this shake. So the point that I'm saying in starting the conversation is they didn't know I was a health expert. Because I'm living it, what happened is I listened. So I'm living it. People come to me. A lot of times asking the right questions is listening first. So they came to me. I heard what they said related to that. And then based upon that, I then started to speak to their needs. So I heard, and then I spoke to their needs. I said, well, I need to fuel myself because I have another match coming up. So I need to eat consistently. I go, you guys, and this is what I said. Do you guys get tired during your game? Do you get tired in between games? I said, yeah. I go, what's your goal? They said, we want to get faster. We want to build. We want to be like you when we're 44. That's what they said. And I said, well, then you need to start eating better and taking care of yourself. And this is what we do. So my point is, no one knew who I was. I lead by example. And I'm not tooting my horn. I'm just giving you your reality that where the land you live in, where you live in your community, I listen to them. I spoke to their need, and then I created solutions for them. I said, well, here, I got a game right now because I had the back-to-back game, and I gave them my number, and then they said, well, where can we buy more of this shade? I said, go to this website, and everyone who's distributing ZP8, that's part of the brand partnership here, you would send them directly to your URL, and you would say, go find this out. I got their information. Bam. They're part of that community now. And now they've opened up, and that was nothing with me being a health expert. It's me leading by example. And what 3 things I did: I listened, I spoke to their needs, and then I actually led them in direction, and I created solutions for them. Okay, that's my story, Renita, on how to ask the right questions. What are yours?
I'm going to go along the same lines. I think that we were given 2 years and 1 month for a reason. Even though I love to talk, I think it's powerful when you're with somebody and you're actually listening to what they're telling you. And I think sometimes in network marketing, there's like a preconceived notion where you have to pitch them, Mark, where you have to tell them your pitch or whatever your script. And I think that doesn't work if you really want to be authentic. I think just listening to somebody, connecting with them. There's a great book I read years ago. It was called The Power of Now. And when you're actually listening to someone and hearing what they're saying, because no 2 people's likes are going to be the same, or their needs are going to be the same. You might have those guys that are on the soccer team, and 2 guys might want more lean muscle. 1 guy wants to be faster, and 1 guy wants to drop 10 pounds. So if you're not sitting there listening, actually communicating and listening, and then responding to that need, then you're just pitching something. You're just trying to sell something. Exactly. And I think that's the biggest thing we got to steer away from with the Zen Project Day, with what we have going on, is we don't want to be out there selling people. We want to be out there changing lives. And in order to do that, we really do have to listen, become better listeners. And then, like I've always said, see a need or hear a need, fill a need, right? It's not just a generic base. This is great for everybody. I mean, sometimes we'd like to say that in our excitement, but the truth of the matter is people want to be heard. And if you're listening, they'll sense that, they'll see that authenticity if you just tell them the truth. And of course, Mark, I agree. I always point to the resource. So whether it's this Monday night webinar, the one that happens right before this with just the nutrition-based webinar, whether it's the Facebook community, whether it's handing my card, giving a link, telling them to go to my website, whatever, I always point them to a resource, because you never just want to, after having that line of communication, just leave them empty-handed. Say, hey, if you're really interested, why don't you go ahead and go check this out? In fact, sometimes on my phone, I send them on a video from my J Mobile app while we're standing there, because now I actually have their, hey, what's your number? Can I get your number really quick? Because I'll save you in my phone and I'll send you over a quick video that kind of explains the Zen body. And I think it'll help you a lot. And that way, if you want to connect with me, we can get a hold of each other that way. And it's just very non-intimidating. They want the information. Instead of you shoving it down their throat, they're like, oh my gosh, that'd be great. I'd love to take a look at that. Sure.
You know what I did? I texted them both the Zen Fuse blog and the Why Supplements Matter blog.
There you go.
So this is why we're writing these tools, because the question I will get for eternity is why supplements matter, because people don't understand that. And that's why you're seeing how we're writing it. There's nothing about that blog that's pitching anything. It's creating a solution in need for people. And that's really what Renee and I talked about in the questions that you guys have been asking. We wanted to do this webcast because they're a right question. There's no scripted question you should be asking people. If there's a script, you want to blow that out. The reality is this: you need to go in with the mindset that you're there to serve them and help them. And then you need to hear them and then show them how you can help them and then point them in the right direction. Those are the right questions. Right. Just listening to people and then responding. And this would be your second call to action item. The first one is getting your mind ready before the conversation, defining that for yourself. The second call to action is for 15 people this week. 15 people. Do not initiate the conversation. Let people come up to you. Let them start the conversation and then hear them and then respond to what they say to you. And if you start doing that and then focus on how you can lead them down a way. So because people will just talk to you based upon what you're doing. If you have your mobile readiness food kit out in public, I guarantee you someone's coming up to you to talk to you about that. Guaranteed. Right, Renita? I mean, that happens to me all the time. Absolutely. In fact, it's funny because I got this great young couple that are doing it. Their names are Jen and Brock, and she was food prepping like crazy. And he just told me they were at this basketball game the other night. And she actually took out her shake and started shaking it, but everyone around them was eating nachos and popcorn. And she was a little bit nervous at first, Jen said, and then Brock goes, take it out and shake it. We're proud of what we're doing. And just by her doing that, boom, it struck up conversation. People are like, oh, what is it that you're doing? And I feel like, be proud of what we're doing. It has huge value. It's shifting your life. It could possibly change someone else's or even save their lives, right? And so I feel like you don't have to be loud and proud, but be proud of it, because that's authentically what you believe, who you are, and just be honest. Because the truth is, we know that most people are searching for what we have. That's what I've realized. Most people want what people that are doing the PFC and the Zen lifestyle, they want what those people have, which are great vitality, great moods, stable hormones, reduced waistlines, less body fat, all those things that people are searching for, we've got it. And so you don't have to, it's not about being loud and proud. It's just about, I say, be proud about it. You don't have to be loud, just be proud. And people will notice that and they're like, I want to hitch onto that. What is that? Well, I love what you just said with Jen. That's what I want to say is when she starts shaking it, I think the mistake people make is people come up to her and said, oh, what are you doing? And then they try to pitch them. So everyone watching, your actions will draw attention. Don't pitch. When they say, what are you doing? Say, oh, this is what I do. This is how I eat. It's called PFC every 3. Yep. If you just share what you're doing and listen, they'll ask more and more questions. They will naturally. That's how you trigger the right questions, because people will just ask you and then you respond to find out more about them. I guarantee everyone watching tonight or watches this replay, if you can implement these simple strategies, what you'll see is a transformation on how people communicate with you and how they act with you. And then that leads us to the last part, and then we're going to wrap up after the conversation. So before, during the conversation, and then after the conversation. And we kind of covered that after the conversation, having a call to action item where you're going to lead them. So based upon the intel that's given to you, based upon the conversation, where are you going to lead them and how are you going to follow up with them? So that every communication you have, where's your beginning, where's your middle, and where's your end? So that you're not just leaving them hanging out there, you're leading people to action. So follow up, and then Renita, you take over on this, is really knowing where you're gonna send them, and then having a proper follow-up mechanism with them after. Absolutely. For me, I mean, I always, again, give out either my website, my link, but just don't assume that people are always going to go there. I always, for the last
literally 9 years have had a party once a week at my home, because then I know where I'm going to point to. So all week long, when I'm out and about, when I'm shaking it up, when I'm dumping my Zen Fit into my water, and people are watching me at basketball games or whatever, and they're asking, and if the conversation leads to that point where they're like, I would like to do something like that, boom, I instantly can point to my weekly party that I have. And for me, it's been a secret to success. And people know it's reliable. They love coming because they're fun. They're usually in and out in an hour. And they really glean from everybody else that's in the group. They love learning from one another. They become friends, actually. It's kind of a little tribe when they come to my parties, but they love it. And so for me, that weekly party has been crucial for my success. Making sure that if some of you out there, if you are building a business, if you don't have a website, or a business card with your website on it, it's time to get some business cards, because I think that people sometimes just say it, but come on, people are busy. They've got kids in sports. They're running here and there. Better yet, I like to text them. Like I said earlier, I like to simply, hey, can I grab your number? I'll text you over a quick link. And that way you could take a look at it. If it's something you're interested in, we can get in touch with one another. Most people are like, yeah. And that way they don't have to worry about even losing the business card. Although I do give out business cards, I like that link because now it's always on their phone. And you never know when they want to go back to it and say, okay, I've had enough. I'm ready to do what you're doing.
Yeah, and I build rapport with people so quick now that when I give them my phone, I always get their number. I do exactly what you said, and then you text them. And my feedback on a URL, everyone with Jeunesse, you have your Jeunesse website, but you can also get a website and forward to your Jeunesse website. So you could, RenitaBrandon.com could go to her Jeunesse website. So you can always have an easier to understand URL. So just choose a URL that's easy to put on your card that you can drive people to.
Right. I love it.
Cool.
Yeah. And I think the secret to success, they've always said the fortune's in the follow through. I've heard that over the years. I think many times people, when they are talking to you, whether you're at the sporting good, like you were at the event or the game or whatever, I think people desperately are searching, Mark. They're searching for, like I said, to feel better, to look better, to all those great things that can happen when you start living this lifestyle. So we can be proud about that. We can be kind and loving and persistent with people. I always call it be positively persistent. Like if they've reached out to you, don't be a nag, don't be a drag, be an encourager, right? We don't want to be a pusher. We want to be an encourager. There's a difference. It's like a hunter or a fisher, right? I don't want to be hunting. I'm fishing. And the fish are coming to you, right? Because you have something that is great, something that they're looking for. And so I think about my business like that. I want to be a fisherwoman, and I want to help a lot of people. I want to help a lot of people. And so I feel like if your heart is right, you have love in your heart, and you're authentic, you're integrity driven, and you have those resources to point to, your success is inevitable with this opportunity if you're really working it as an opportunity, Mark.
And I want to give one shout out before we wrap it up tonight. Kathleen Paredes has been doing amazing there in Houston, Texas. And she showed me she was scared to do Facebook Lives. Danny Sperry right there in Billings, Montana. You are ready to do Facebook Lives. You got Yolanda Long doing them. But Kathleen now has her own Facebook Live section. And that's another great place you can refer to. And then someone else based upon the meeting. I just got to pull it up my phone and her name. I know her name. It's Wanda Beckett, but I want to find out how much she dropped. And I want to share the story. And then we're going to wrap it. Renita, you will wrap up the final thoughts. But hold on. Let me just pull up what Wanda texted me. So Wanda did this. Wanda and 6 of her friends in Billy, Montana. It's just amazing lady. She said, 1 week behind me on detox and I'm down 15 pounds. I feel great. I found my why and determined why not was as well. It was a biggie. Now that I understand it, I will overcome. And that's what it matters to me. Like, this is because when we went to South Dakota, she went to Rapids with me. We then drove to Billings together. And within 2 days, Wanda inspired 6 of her friends to join with her, to live it, to share it. And now a weekend, she's down 15 pounds. These are the things I want everyone to know. These are what these webcasts do. You got Kathleen rocking her Facebook Lives. You got Yolanda Long. You got Trisha Burns. You got Danny Sperry being inspired by Kathleen rocking her Facebook Live. And then we have people, distributors who are at events that are sharers and brand partners that are now rocking it. So I just want everyone to know it's 1% at a time. And it's chipping away and taking the information you learned each one of these weeks and applying it to your life and to your business. Okay, that's it for me. Renita, wrap us up.
I just think that all of you, one thing I was just thinking of when I was sitting here as I'm listening to share these stories, you know, ask yourself this question: are people amazed by my commitment? Are people amazed by my kindness? Are people amazed by my generosity? Are people amazed by my encouragement? And Mark, you're continuously amaze me with being an encourager, with just the level of passion that you hold. And I think that people are innately attracted to that. So all of us can do a better job when we're asking ourselves, you know, am I doing my best? Am I walking with the spirit of excellence with this Zen Project Day, with this opportunity, with this message? Am I walking in a spirit of excellence? Can I do better? Tomorrow I'm going to up my game. I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to give it a little bit more gusto. I'm going to give it a little more fire. You know, I'm going to be a little bit more committed tomorrow. So, you know, Mark talks about the 1%, but I look at Mark and I just think I'm amazed with his level of commitment to this community and to what he's given to Janess and the Zen Project 8. So I'm thankful for that. And I just appreciate that. Mark, you coming to North Dakota, you going to Montana and South Dakota. These are not fun places to visit in the winter months. I'm just going to be honest. It's like 45 below here, but your commitment amazes me. And if we could all just, I think, strive to have that level of commitment when we're out there sharing this message, people will come for miles. They're attracted to that level of passion and that level of commitment, and they truly do want more for their lives. So I love you guys. I just say, do everything in love, do everything with a servant's heart, do it with great integrity. And the fortune is in the follow through. So be positively persistent with people. Don't be a pusher, be an encourager, and people will come from miles to get on board with you. I just believe that with all my heart. I've seen it with my own business. So I know it'll happen with yours, wherever you're at.
Love it. Okay, next week, get ready, 10 p.m. We'll keep going off what you're going to send. You want us to cover a topic, put it, text it to me, email it to me, and we're going to rock it. Love our community. Remember, take on your action items and really learn how to be the best, how to ask the right questions and listen. Okay, everyone, have a great night. We're out.